Food can be so costly. So, how can you save money on groceries and still eat the food that you love and food that is healthy for you? If you know me, you know I love a simple process. So, today, let's pull back the curtain on three of the easy ways I save money on groceries without having to drive from store to store just to save a dollar. This is the Your Money, Your Life podcast where ambitious women come together to have clarity, prosperity, and confidence with their money without sacrificing precious time and well deserved fun. So let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. Let's do this. We're talking about three easy ways to save money on groceries. So, first thing, well, really before we get into this, I feel so many other things that we talk about, like I said, I'm into simple processes and sometimes when it's a simple process, it's something simple to do, it's also simple not to do. And it might not be like this new revolutionary process that you've never heard of, right? Like, just because it's simple doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. Let's talk about something real quick first before we dive in. It's called already always listening. Now, already always listening is something that one of my coaches talks about, like where you're listening to somebody speak, kind of like now, and you hear them say something and you're like, oh, I already know that. And then we kind of like tune them out. We're not really listening because, you know that already, right? But when we take on that lens of the already always listening, we're not actually listening for what we can do to move forward and actually make the progress. And sometimes, even though we know something, there's a difference between knowing about something and experiencing something and actually doing something. We talk about you can know what love is, but there's a difference to experience love. And there's a difference here. We can know about some of these things, but if we're not actually doing them, then we're still not there. We still need to actually do those things. And yes, some of them are simple to do and some of them are simple not to do. So, well, they're all simple not to do and they're all simple to do. So, okay, I think we've made the point. It's simple, but you still need to do it. So, first easy way that I save on money is meal planning. Okay. And I've actually just updated my meal list to make this a little bit more simpler too. So, I used to keep, and actually, if you join the academy, waitlist for the academy. If you join the academy, you have all of this is going to be available inside the academy. It's going to be super simple. But I used to break my meal planning up into categories, like chicken, pork, Italian, Mexican. I had a simple category, which we'll get to in a minute. I think there was a beef and other. I'm trying to remember what those categories, but I would pick one meal from each category for the week. And it was working, but I felt like I could streamline the process a little bit. So now I took all of the meals and I put them together in a meal plan, and I didn't include the simple meal category. We're going to get to that in a second. And I made, I think it's 4. I've got enough for almost 6, but I think I stuck with 4 and I have an extras category. So I made a week A, a week B, a week C, a week D meal plan list. So now when I meal plan on Thursdays, I just plug whatever week we're on next into the meal plan. If something's not going to work, if we're out of something, there's the extras list with spaces to add new recipes as we try new stuff that I can substitute the extras list. But the second half of meal planning that really sets you up for success here is what we call our go-to meal list. Okay. So what your go-to meals are, when the day gets crazy, which is honestly, today has been crazy. There has been so many videos and trainings and everything that I've been doing today. We're actually going to use our go-to meal list tonight. I was supposed to have stuffed meatballs on the crock pot cooking right now so that we could do stuffed meatballs and spaghetti for dinner. That did not happen. So when you have a day like today where that just didn't happen, your go-to meal list saves you. Because right now, if I didn't have my go-to meal list, I'd be telling my husband, like, okay, we're gonna have to pick something up because I don't know what the heck I'm gonna make for dinner. And it's gonna be dinner time, and I've got to call the night with a group anyway. So we're gonna be able to do this. Like, just grab something to eat, okay? Which we're spending more money, which, like we've talked about, spending money is fine, but we want to be intentional with our spending money. I would much rather go out to eat this weekend and be intentional about it and pick something that I want than just telling him to grab some fast food on the way home because we need to eat something. So, what is a go-to meal list? Your go-to meal list is a list of all the simple stuff that you can make that you've got on hand. And that's going to be part of the key. We're going to get to that in the third step here. But it's going to be simple stuff. It's not always the most healthy stuff. Like, I can tell you right now, it's not super crazy healthy, but like, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, and mac and cheese. We've done like wraps before. We've done sausage and mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is a really great side for my go-to meal list. And it is also something I've been craving this pregnancy. Kind of interesting. I don't know. There's been times where I just wanted to eat a bowl, like the whole container of the Kraft. It has to be Kraft mac and cheese. I'm sorry, but there is no homemade mac and cheese that is like Kraft mac and cheese. I'm getting off topic, but your go-to meal list, those simple things to make. I think we've got corn dogs on there, fish sticks, the stuff that you can just stick in the oven and it's ready 25, 20, 30 minutes. And your kids might eat more of a variety than mine. You could have a totally different thing. Your go-to meal list does not have to look like my go-to meal list, but having that ready to go. So when life happens and things get crazy, you can still make something eat at home and you're not having to go get fast food unexpectedly. You plan to go get fast food. That's different. But that's our first step, okay? Meal planning and have that go-to meal list. The second easy way that I save money on groceries, it's going to sound silly, eat before you go to the grocery store. Even if I wasn't pregnant, you still got to eat before you go to the grocery store. So we will end up impulse spending. We've talked all about this before, the impulse spending challenge at the beginning of the year, but like, we need to be strategic about it. We need to know like what our weaknesses are. My husband loves to look at absolutely everything in the grocery store. That is not me. But if I'm hungry, I know that I have a higher tendency to want to pick up stuff, where when I'm not hungry, I have more of a clear mind of like, okay, I am not actually going to eat that. I've tried these things in the past and it did not work out. If you were going into the grocery store and you have eaten beforehand, we typically have like a loose rule that you can pick up one extra thing that's not on your list per person. So I don't always use mine. My husband always finds something that he wants to try, and that is just something he enjoys to do, looking up every single grocery aisle. That might be your challenge today. Like, tell me if you're one of those people that likes to look at all the things at the grocery store, or if you're just like, I've got the list, get in and out, right? Okay, eat beforehand. But really, what a lot of us are doing now, and what I try and do in most places, like Aldi's, I can't really figure this out. It just does not work for me. Use a pickup order. It saves so much time, especially if you've got kids. Stick them in the car. Little minor pro step. I keep stuff with me in the car. Like when I go to do my pickup order, if they're taking a while, I've still got something I can work on, whether it's a book to read or it's something that I'm planning out, or it's intentional downtime, whatever it might be. Like, I'm not going to get frustrated if it takes them longer to go get my groceries, because my butt doesn't have to be inside going up and down all the grocery aisles with the kids trying to pick everything up. So pickup order, definitely the best way to go. If not, you're going to go in the grocery store, make sure you eat something beforehand, because none of us like to be hangry. I know I get hangry. I'm raising my hand here, but set yourself up for success. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Just causes more problems. Okay. The third easy way to save money on groceries is the kitchen inventory. So I know I've had people tell me, I don't have time for this, Aimee. This is the thing. We just have to make time. This is part of why the execution lab is now part of the academy, because we need to execute on all of these things that we do. But what a kitchen inventory is. A kitchen inventory is a list of all the stuff that you've got in your pantry, in your freezers, because we've all had that food that gets lost to the back of the freezer and we don't know what the heck it is. Or like it's just lost and forgotten until it's freezer burned or way expired if it's in the pantry. I know when my dad and stepmom moved, oh, it's been a while back now. What, 5, 6 years ago now, somewhere in there, that they gave us a bunch of stuff like out of their freezer for us to be able to eat. And there was like a meat that they had like packaged and they put it like in a sandwich bag. And I remember it was labeled like, I had to take a picture of it and send it to my stepmom and be like, what the heck is this? Like, I don't know. It wasn't labeled. I felt like we had the mystery meat there. So even though we had kept the inventory, I didn't know what the heck it was. But keeping the kitchen inventory, this is part of just scheduling the time to do it. There is a standard level and like a pro level. So standard level would be kind of like just taking like a sheet of paper. I've got all the Canva templates for you that I've created. You can go use, but the pro level is kind of brings me to like the pro step and what we call smart prepping, which again, we're talking about all about inside the academy. I feel like there's a common theme here. We're talking about smart prepping inside of the academy, and especially with food cost on the rise, we need to be smart prepping. Okay. This isn't like go hide in a bunker. This is being smart and being prepared. So then you kind of you'll create a checklist. There's a little bit more work to go into this like up front, but you'll create a checklist of everything you expect to see in your pantry and your freezer. So then you know if it's not there, it needs to go on the grocery list. And then you have a little space for the extra stuff that you want to buy at the grocery store. But at a bare minimum, take a sheet of paper, make a kitchen inventory, do it once a month, part of what we call the month end process, which is going to correspond with the execution lab timing. Just a side note, set aside the time, schedule it, make the kitchen inventory, don't lose the food, delegate it if you can, if you've got kids that you can trust to do it. Maybe if you're homeschooling, you make it part of like their handwriting, life skills, language arts, something in there. Everything can be teachable, right? But there we have it. It was 3 easy ways to save on groceries, but like each step had like a part and a B part. So it almost ended up being like 6 easy ways to save on groceries. We talked about meal planning and your go-to meal list. We talked about eating before you go to the grocery store and utilizing pickup orders. We talked about your kitchen inventory at a standard level and the pro level, and starting to smart prep, especially with everything is going on, being prepared and taking care of your family is more important than ever. So there's a lot there. They're simple to do. Like we've talked about, 3 easy ways to save money on groceries. Let's do your challenge today. I want to hear, are you the type of person that like goes to the grocery store and like looks at every single thing on every aisle? Are you like in and out? Which one do you stand on? Send me a message on Instagram. I want to hear. We'll take a poll. We'll let you know which one most of us reside in. And we'll see you next week for another episode of the Your Money, Your Life podcast. Bye for now. This episode of the Your Money, Your Life podcast is brought to you by Money Masters Inner Circle Academy. I'm so freaking excited to be bringing the academy to you. So, do you struggle with overwhelm, judgment, frustration, or fear when it comes to your finances? Or do you just never have time to do the things that you know you need to? Or even know where to begin and end up in like this vicious cycle? How about when you finally get ahead and then the refrigerator breaks, or a kid gets sick, or the car needs to go to the shop, and you lose all your hard work? You're not alone. Actually, you're in the right place. Inside the brand new academy, we're going to start with the basics, creating a solid financial foundation for you that allows your budget to meet the 3 critical rules for growth. Then we're going to add in power-ups to make sure your hard-earned money goes farther. And of course, systematize the process so that you have more time to do what you love, with whom you love, all stress-free. When you have those tough moments where you just don't know if you're doing enough or even the right thing. You'll have weekly group coaching calls so that you can get back into momentum fast, as well as up to date, relevant training for what's going on now in the world and what's coming. And of course, we're going to do it all with simple, practical strategies that actually work in a fun manner. That's part of why we're adding in the Execution Lab, a monthly meeting where we sit down, listen to some fun music, and work on our finances. The stuff that we need to make time for, we'll do it together. And of course, I'll be there live with you if questions come up along the way. The Academy officially opens in June. So all you need to do right now to stay in the know and to be eligible for some pretty sweet bonuses is go to aimeecerka.com/academy and join the waitlist. Of course, if you missed that link, it's going to be hanging out in the show notes for you.